Welcome to this week's episode of Your Stock Request for the 31st of July. Hi, I'm Michael Gable, Managing Director at Fairmont Equities. Your Stock Request is the weekly video where I take your requests and analyse the share price charts. So this week we have McQuary Group, Romelius Resources, Aerys Resources, Frontier Digital and Podium. So if you have a request, please send it through. Make sure you've signed up to the free newsletter, but our best recommendations come out on Tuesday in the Dynamic Investor Report. So make sure you are getting that report. But if you do enjoy these videos, we'd love you to share them on social media or even leave us a review. Our main business is in portfolio management. So if you'd like my personal help in managing the portfolio, then please call me. And the advice here is general only. So I've got a weekly chart here of McQuary. As we could see, with that big pullback earlier this year, we've had this sort of V-shaped recovery. Hasn't made an all-time high like the broader market that's just gone to new highs. McQuary hasn't done that yet. If we have a look at the daily chart, we could see that in the past sort of several weeks we had this very nice sort of rally here at the end of June, sort of a strong move, and at the moment it just looks like it is pulling back against that. So it hasn't broken that June low yet, so it just looks like a normal sort of impulsive move up, corrective decline, similar to what we saw here in some ways. So look, it does look like it can head higher. I think it just needs to hold this June low, but ultimately, you got your higher highs and lows. So at this point in time, it looks like McQuary can head higher. Romelius, if we start off with a weekly, we could see that it's been trending, for at least a couple of years, trending higher, a bit more volatile more recently. So a bit more of a smoother trend here, a bit more volatility here, but it's still making the higher highs and the higher lows. If we have a look at what it's done a bit more shorter term here on the daily chart, we could see that after this pullback, so far we've had a bit of a strong move up, quite a bit of volume here on these big days, so that's a good sign. So yeah, just looks like it's able to continue trending higher. Aerys, if we just sort of have a look at, say, the last year or two, during this sort of pullback here, sort of over the past year, we could see it's still making the lower highs. It does look like it's put in a higher low, so maybe it's could be leveling out potentially. To get ready to head higher again. I think that it needs to get through this March high first. So, if it can sort of crack this high, then it starts to look a bit more positive. Frontier Digital. So in terms of the short term, this is the daily chart. We could see the recent low was made here in early June, so there was a big sell-off, decent sort of volumes around this period of time, so potentially could be a sign of exhaustion. So the sellers have, the main sellers have exited, and that's enabled the stock to rally higher. It's managed to get above this high, so it's now made I guess the first higher high. So it's, the chart's starting to look better, but I think ultimately, you'd want to see it then come back, make another higher low, higher high. So at least a couple of higher lows, higher highs for it to look better. Otherwise, that's still the longer term picture. So it's still got a way to go yet. Finally, Podium. So we could see it was trending nicely for a while. Sort of broke that uptrend here. End of last year, so by taking out the previous low, so we got the higher lows, broke under that low, plus we could also draw a a rough trend line for this, so that's broken. So now that that's happened, it's trading sideways, which is it's a positive. It's good to see that it's not continuing on in a downtrend, so it's had that pullback, it's consolidating sideways, and it now looks like we've got some resistance at $12. So it's coming up to that level. So essentially you'd look for a break above 12 and then you'd say that the consolidation is over, and that would be a buy signal and it'd be ready to head higher again. Okay, that's all for this week. So if you have a request, send it through and we'll try to cover it next week.